Welcome folks to another video. Today, good news. We are actually looking at Bitcoin currently at $99,439. We have Ethereum at $3,343. And between this video and last video, we saw Bitcoin dip, Ethereum dip, actually the whole market dip. We had mentioned an $88,000 bottom. And guess what? We got to an $100,000 bottom for Bitcoin. And then we started seeing huge momentum. And today, as the time I'm recording this, we had a huge volume because of CPI that was positive, and because of that we had a huge spike in price for Bitcoin and for Ethereum. So let's talk about that in today's news. So let's actually start with the CPI. We have here some data to look at. So year over year, the consumer prices increased by 2.9% versus the 2.8% expected, so not by much. Then we had the month over month, 0.4% increase over the 0.3% increase that was expected. So again, not much difference. Of course, it is bad when it is higher, but not much difference. Actually, the core year over year, that one is 3.2 increased versus the 3.3 expected. So it's actually down. The core month over month is 0.2 increase versus the 0.3 expected, again below what it was. The market reaction for this was that stock futures rallied, bond yields fell, crypto of course rallied as well, because that is positive for the market. Then the Fed impact. We most likely have high odds of having multiple interest rate cuts in 2025. So the prediction, or what Jerome Powell said last time, is that most likely we're going to have fewer than expected cuts. But because inflation is a hard thing to combat, most likely we will be seeing that number go up, especially if Jerome Powell is not going to be the one in charge anymore. But again, we know Gary Gensler is going to leave. We know a lot of people from the SEC is going to leave, but I'm not sure Powell will be leaving the Fed anytime soon. So with that being said, now that we have this out of the way, let's take a look at the prices. The prices we already talked about here, but we have the Fear and Greed Index that is going up. It has been going up since last time that we spoke. Here in the 30-day, we have the price itself of Bitcoin. You can see the volume itself of Bitcoin below. And if Bitcoin falls, the fear and greed falls as well. But you can see that now that the price is going up, we are back above the 50. We have been neutral in these past few days, but we are currently back at prices from January 7th. And Bitcoin prices go up, but we see Bitcoin dominance go down, which was the inverse, or what we saw a few days ago, where the price was, yes, going up a little bit, but the dominance was going up a lot. That is because everything else was going down. So altcoin dominance, the others dominance, the dominance for everything that is not Bitcoin related and USDC related, those were falling, meaning that money was going towards Bitcoin or USDT or USDC. So any of these stable coins. So now that it is going down, we are going to have to wait to see how it's going to react, how it's going to test right here at around the 57.5%. So again, if this goes down, it is good for every other altcoin. We can see, for example, XRP. XRP is doing fantastic, and I think XRP is going to rally a lot in this cycle. We can see that just today it went from 2.58 all the way to 2.98. Did we actually touch the 3? Yeah, we touched $3 for XRP, which is fantastic. If you were holding XRP since Trump's election, you would have made 400% in a matter of just 66 days. So in 2 months, you would have made 400% almost if you were holding these bags since Trump won the election in November. Fantastic returns for crypto, and this will not be only XRP. We're also going to see all the other altcoins rally a lot, especially when Bitcoin dominance goes down. But I believe also the price of Bitcoin will be rallying as well. The numbers that we see for the cycle is between $120,000 all the way to $200,000 for the cycle. But we know that this cycle most likely will go all the way to 2026. So we don't know if this is going to happen by March, or we don't know if this is going to happen by 2026 before we start getting ready for the next cycle of a little bit of a stagnant to bear market once everything is done moving the way that it is right now. So that being said, we have our positions still here: 70,000 for Bitcoin, 2,800 for Ethereum, and these ones are at 108% and 30% accordingly. On the 4-hour charts, we are getting towards the overbought for Bitcoin, also for Ethereum. No, Ethereum is still a little bit far away from being overbought. Here we did cross it from a very oversold right here where was a possible entry. A lot of people that I know that had some capital to spare or that were getting into crypto right now because they didn't want to miss out, this was a good, very, very good point for them to enter. And you can see the huge candle that we see right here, right now for Ethereum. It is very, very clear that we have a lot of strength, but not a lot of volume. You can see we had more volume right here on January 13th than we do right now, but we still have a few hours to go before this candle closes. So anyways, on the copy trading, a lot of people are getting bummed that this number is going down. But if you actually look, we are positive and we're still on the 15th. So this number, we can maybe double it or maybe beat the 5%. Most likely we're going to beat the 4.54% right here. So most likely will be something a little bit above that or maybe even 6%, who knows. But so far we've made 0.66 in the past 24 hours and the last 30 days, 5% so far. We're almost super close to hitting $1 million right here in assets under management. Of course, we also have the Phoenix strategy that it is performing at 23%, and this one has been very, very stable, still giving you huge returns nonetheless. And then we are at 1,053 users that have deposited. Everton, I don't know how to deposit. I don't know how to get into the topics. Well, we have videos here in this channel. We're also in the education tab, as you can see right here, where we can teach you how to do these things in Bitopics. So the first thing that you have to do is go down in the links in the description, click on the link, register, and then watch the videos, go to the education tab to see how to deposit, how to use the protocol, how to make money passively or actively here with options. So now for liquidations, in the past 24 hours, we had $264 million liquidated. Not as much, but still a very considerate number here if we compare that to other low days where we had 84, 100, 150 million. So 264 is a quarter of a billion, still impressive, but not the biggest number that we saw here in this channel. So most of these, of course, were shorts. They got liquidated because Bitcoin was going up and everything was going up. You can see between XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, here alone, we have the majority of these positions. So 63 million for Bitcoin, 43 million for Ethereum, 25 for XRP. That being said, we can see now on this heat map right here that we have a lot of different positions, and this chart is changing on the daily basis. Every time I make a video, this chart is inverse and is flipped to the other side because now we have way more longs and not a lot of shorts, which was the inversed last video. We had a lot of shorts and zero longs. We got wiped out. We liquidated everyone that was longing, and now we are liquidating everyone who is shorting. For Ethereum, it is even more noticeable. The amount of shorts right here is very little, and the amounts of longs right here is huge 464 million cumulative long positions that we have here, all of these leveraged. And of course, you cannot miss the 100x leverage that we have here all over the place. So shorts are still going to get liquidated all the way to the 3,400. And after that, we don't have a lot of shorts. We just have people who are holding 25x and 10x leverage here, but very little compared to the 100x that we already took out of the market. Meanwhile, we can see clearly here in the heat map, this green huge candle here that did kind of a short squeeze right here, going from around 87,000 all the way to the $84,500 here. And we are very close to hitting one more time this and going above the 100,000. So I think this is just a matter of when. Most likely it's going to do this little U shape like it did before. So we're going to see something similar right here, because this is usually how it goes. Once it reaches, it does a little U, and then it goes back down again, but because it keeps bouncing between these liquidation levels that we see right here. So you most likely saw on Twitter, if you are a Twitter aficionado like I am, you most likely saw a post from Polymarket saying that we have huge chances of countries or businesses or governments interested in adopting Bitcoin as reserve. So this on Polymarket has become a huge thing. A lot of people are depositing into that. The odds that we had now are going very low because it is certain that these things are going to happen. We see countries interested, and this article says the same thing. Here we have countries that are in the works, like for example, Brazil, where pressure is rising. We have El Salvador here, for example, orange pilled. We have Czech Republic and Russia, and all of these countries are looking into it, but they haven't decided yet. So Brazil, if you don't know, it is very heavy into CBDCs, but also the population itself, so not only the government, is very into crypto. If Brazilians had the capital allocation and the financial education that Americans have, or at least had, we most likely would have at least 50% of the population using or investing in crypto, especially in Bitcoin. Unfortunately, this number now is close to 17 to 20% because only the people that can afford to have a better working conditions, better jobs, better salaries, they can afford to invest, but most of them don't even do that. Investing is not something like we see in the United States where it is ingrained into people's brain. But it's good to see that Brazil is going towards this route, and I hope it is better than going the CBDCs route, which I personally am not a huge fan of. And still for market analysis here, we have Jason Pizzino, which I know Crypto Ricardo especially likes him a lot. So here we have an article that he did for the Cointelegraph where he talks about a little bit, he gives a little bit of predictions for the market and what he expects to see. So personally, he says that there is a possibility that cycles will not repeat itself, but he says that is very slim. It is a slim possibility, and he believes that this is still going to be a cycle that historically will follow all the others along. But what I want to get from this article itself are the numbers, the projections that he makes for these cycles for Ethereum and for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, he gives it the least price that we can see in the cycle is $120,000, but he specifies that this could be in 2025 or all the way back to the end of 2026. For Ethereum, he gives 5,300 as a golden number. So these are the numbers, for example, that he mentions for the cycle. Of course, here, as I said before in many videos, and this is going to be something that I'll be consistently returning to, is that you shouldn't be trusting other people's word just because they have a lot of followers or they have a lot of likes on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever that is. Make sure you know your analysis, you follow school of thought. So for example, even though I agree with these numbers, like he says, not necessarily I will be agreeing with everything that he says. So I don't have to follow blindly what this person says. And this could be not only Jason, I'm not bashing into him, whatever other person, analysts, traders, journalists, whatever he says or she says, I have to take that information, analyze it myself, digest it, make it mine. Once I have it as mine information, I can deduce, put it in my brain and work with all the other information that I got and see what sticks best for what I know, what I don't know. And if there's something that I don't know, I have to go and look for that information to become more knowledgeable, because knowledge is the thing that's going to keep you afloat while everyone else is losing their minds in the crypto market or in the stock market as well. So you have to have fundamentals, you have to follow those fundamentals, study, because having a fundamental without any base, without any solid evidence of studying patterns or whatever it is that you're focusing on, it is just pointless. So make sure you understand what's going on in the markets on an economic, on a macro level, on a geopolitical level, and then you do your own conclusions from what other people are saying, because we see a lot of bullish and bearish news put together and presented that to you in a form of a YouTube video, of an article, or whatever that is. So make sure you understand what both sides are saying, and then you look at the chart, you look at economics, you look at politics, and you look at historical data, which for example is my thing. I like to look at historical data more than politics and more than economics, for example. And then out of that, you take your own conclusions, which historically, for example, this cycle would also be going up until March, as I showed in the last video. So I took my own conclusions, and now it is up to you to take your own conclusions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see something different, some other type of content here on the topics, let me know in the comments. I'm open to test new things, not only talking about markets, articles, and options. We can also explore other altcoins, other things that could be going up in this season. So let me know. I'm always down to try something new, especially if it's going to be profitable and good for you guys that watch our videos. So thank you very much, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.